morning, everybody. I'd like to remind you that we sniff farts.
Oh, and that's going to be on the internet forever now. Thanks, McMurray.
Hey,
Welcome.
If that's
See,
the
I always
worst thing
thought
about
that-
me on the internet, I think I'm okay.
See, I
Yeah,
didn't
really?
know. I had to test because, so I've been testing on various live streams because StreamYard automatically mutes you for
Right.
you find viewers when the little intro is playing, right?
Yeah.
But it also mutes the intro. So when it's going, it shows the little countdown for Chris, Reese, and I. We don't hear it.
Yeah.
So last week I tested and I realized, or maybe not last week, but 2 weeks ago or whatever, I discovered that, okay, I can't actually turn the sound on. And then I wasn't sure if it was like a forced mute or something. And now I have discovered that it's not a forced mute. I can unmute and talk.
Yes, you can.
So now we should probably figure out a forced mute. But,
Probably for you, yes.
anyhow. Yeah.
Welcome, one and all, to episode 150, the Sesquicentennial. I love that
Fancy
word.
words.
It's a great word.
Fancy words.
Sesquicentennial.
Is that 4 years?
150.
Oh.
Sesquicentennial is 150. And I'm going to be honest. The only reason I know that sesquicentennial means 150 is because in 1986, Texas celebrated their sesquicentennial of freedom from Mexico. So there you go. Walkabout Games was here a little early at 7:22. Says, hey ho, see you in a bit. Charles came in a minute later, said, hey. Telemachus at 7:49. They used to time me with a stopwatch. Now they use a calendar. Richard Keenan in the house with hey all. Panther Shadow, howdy folks. And Meandering Mike, greetings all. Welcome one and all, guys. Right now until the end of Sunday, if I'm not mistaken. Is it Sunday or is it Friday? I think it's Sunday.
I don't know what we're talking about.
The Wiley
The
Games?
buy one,
Yep.
get one half off sale on the card decks at Wiley Games, wiley-games.com.
Oh, baby. I think it's a Valentine's Day thing, isn't it?
It is.
Yes, it is. It
Yeah.
is.
And I got to figure out what card decks I don't have that I want because I can't pass up a Wiley sale.
Yeah, facts. True facts.
And I'll probably just order some markers with the cards because I always need more markers.
Let's see here. Get past all this other stuff. Wiley Games Valentine's Sale 2024. Buy one, get one 50% off on custom cards. Now through the 11th. No restrictions.
Oh, baby.
Yes. My beloved Queen of Hearts, you are always there to heal my wounds. And the picture is all of the different Queen of Hearts from all of the different decks. And looks like I've got most of them. I don't think I've got the generic deck yet.
I've got that one and enjoy it.
I need to pick up the generic deck. They've got a couple of things on clearance right now. They've got Fistful of Blood Reloaded, the original Fistful of Blood Reloaded, first edition, hard or printed copy. Not hard. Yeah, it's hard copy. It's not a hardback. It's a hard copy. But it's softback, $10. They've also got Wasteland Warriors. Sounds like there may be a second edition coming because there's only 21 of those left, and they're $10 also.
Oh, damn. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah. So
I don't think I have that one.
Yeah, Wasteland Warriors, if you're wanting to do your post-apocalyptic stuff, what are some good post-apocalyptic?
I mean, anything if you're wanting to play
You
like
can-
Fallout or Mad Max or anything where you
Yeah,
have
there you go. Yeah, Mad Max is what I was looking for. Fallout, perfect.
anything where you've got
example.
like the big things is the big thing isn't necessarily the post-apocalyptic thing, as much as that's a setting to then use the mechanics for mutations, and
right.
that's where Jay really
Exactly.
starts to get into like mutations and some like cybernetic kind of stuff,
Yeah.
and he really branches out with some of the extra little mechanics with
So, yeah, $10. That is like 55% off,
It's not
and
bad.
you don't need a special code for it. You just drop it into the box. But they don't have many left. They've got 21 as of the email that went out on the 5th. It is now the 7th. I'm sure some people have snagged those up. Definitely be putting in your orders ASAFP.
Are there good monster rules in that?
Yeah.
Okay, because I know Galactic Heroes has some good monster rules. I didn't know if Wasteland Warriors expanded.
Let me see if do I have my Wasteland Warriors book handy.
it does. The big thing is again when you're looking at stuff like not necessarily, you know, big giant monsters.
I've got my copy.
Go for it.
So what you're looking at here is, they've definitely got, when you're looking at creating stuff, it's got your the gear and whatnot, but where is it? Get past all the weapon bowl garbage. Negative traits. Mutations. There we go. Page 12. So you've got like absorption. A mutant with this ability can temporarily steal another mutant's power. To use absorption, the mutant must win a close combat against their opponent. Regardless of the wound roll outcome, the mutant can choose one of the loser's mutations and has it for the remainder of the game. That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Kill that thing. Kill it fast.
Yeah. Bleeder. Arterial weakness means you must add +1 to your wound rolls whenever you take a wound. It's a negative trait. Control elements. Density control. Here you go. You have total control of your molecules in your body, increasing or decreasing your density. As an action, you can reduce your density. While in this state, you may pass through terrain unimpaired, even moving through walls and gliding across water. However, due to your ghost-like state, you may not attack, shoot, or close combat, or be attacked. It takes an action to turn this off. You may also use an action to increase your density. While in this state, you gain the solid as a rock and armored traits. You also add +1 to the wound roll in close combat. However, due to your rock-like state, your move is reduced by 2 inches in action, and it takes an action to turn this off.
See, I would take the first part of that and almost use it like a cloaking thing for like starfighters. That'd be neat.
Yeah,
because you can't.
Yeah, so I mean, it's a even if you don't like the post-apocalyptic genre, the fact that it gives you all these different things to go with, energy blast, force fields, gas generation. By spinning an action, you can create a noxious cloud of gas around yourself. Use your imagination. Use the 3-inch burst template as a guide for how large the gas cloud is. The cloud blocks line of sight for anyone trying to target anything on the other side of it. Anyone targeting you or anyone else inside the cloud has a -1 to their shoot roll. In addition, the horrible stench causes a -1 to all close combat rolls inside the gas, except you, of course. So awesome stuff. As I said, as of the 5th on Monday, they had 21 left, only $10. So now's the time to do it, guys. And remember, the cards are buy one, get one half off. So you buy one for 20, you get the second one for 10. You can't beat it. $30 for 2 decks, you're good to go. Walkabout is back. He says hello all. Percy Block's in the house. Hey, hey, hey. And Walkabout says, I think I have 6 of the decks now. I got quite a few myself. So, but go check it out. Wiley-games.com is your landing spot for all things Fistful related. Check it out. The sale on the books is until they're gone, and the sale on the cards is until midnight Central Time, U.S. for the buy one get one half off on the cards. So there you have it. The other our other sponsor is geekgamingus.com. Go buy it, get it. Their stuff is amazing. I've showed it before. I'll show it again. You can't go wrong with how good it makes your models look. It literally will make a average model look even better. I mean, I'm going to be honest. This is not the best painted miniature ever, but with this basing, it makes it really look good. So go check them out. geekgamingusa.com. And pick up the glue. The stuff is really good. Also, it lasts a good long time. I've done literally 4 or 5 dozen miniatures with it already, and I've only used that much. So it'll last a good long time. So first off, anybody here even think that we would make 150 episodes?
No,
I wasn't sure.
Ray was going to get his banned a long time ago.
Well, there's that. Yeah, 150 of these things. I'm pleasantly pleased with what we've got going here. Good group of people that come on. McMurray, you're always here for me. Reese, you've come along in the last year. That's greatly appreciated. We miss Jeffy coming on. We always like to see him when he does. Warmutt, if you're out there, you got the link. Hop to Bubba. And unfortunately, we don't see Todd as much as we'd like to, but he's an important dude. So, but 150, and then in less than a month, the next time in 4 weeks, the show in 4 weeks from now will be the 3rd year that we're doing this. That's crazy. Telemachus says, "Is that rhetorical?" No, I want it seriously. I want y'all to seriously, think about it. Did y'all think I would ever get to 150 of these? Chris Lang says 150. That's great. I agree with Reese. Oh, Richard says 2 thumbs up for the Taiga mix, especially for fantasy minis. There you go. Wardrobe, speak of the devil, says, good evening, playing some GCACW. Happy anniversary, and that is a pretty big deal to have done that many shows. Yeah, it is. I have to agree. So, but where are you, Mr. Reese, on your project for March to Victory?
I've got maybe 12 Marines to finish, and then I've got about 10 civilians, and then probably 25 North Vietnamese.
None! Rats.
Not bad. So it's doable.
Yeah. We've got what, about 7 weeks?
Yeah, I need a 24-hour paint challenge to get it.
Well, it looks like that's going to happen. That first weekend of March, we're going to unless something bad comes up, that first weekend of March is going to be a 24-hour deal.
Okay.
I think unfortunately McMurray is not going to be able to join us. He has to work that day.
Right.
But that's okay. We got others to come and join us. And y'all don't have to come join for the full 24 hours. But we're looking to start at noon on Saturday and go until noon on Sunday, and have a lot of sleeping after the fact. So probably what I'm going to end up doing that day is just keep on going as long as I can the rest of that. Maybe take like a quick nap. But yeah, turn around and stay up as long as I can, and then grab some shut eye that evening going into Monday. So
I will see if I can jump in for some of that.
What's that?
I'll see if I can jump in for some of that. I may be on call that weekend. So
no, if you are, that's fine. Telemachus says I expect 1,500 of these, dude. That's at this rate, that's 30 years worth. If I'm still alive in 30 years, that'll be amazing, to be honest. But thank you for the optimism. Andrew Mike says 150 is a lot. Nguyen says thumbs up to that, Telemachus. And Hex says, have an awesome 150th. Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Glad to hear from you, buddy.
Well,
it's always good to
if
hear.
If I need to keep it going, maybe I can.
Yeah, there you go. So I am needing to get to work on my project for March to Victory. I've got to get these Italian ships painted. Looks like I'm going to have to reprint a couple because they fell on the ground and I rolled over them with my chair. Someone says take a pill or something. Okay. We will put your brain in a jar and plug it into the internet. Eternal, not J. There you go. I think that's something similar to what they've done in what's that show? Futurama. There you go. Futurama.
Just put an optical sensor on it and a robot hand so you can still paint.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, I got to get these Italian ships painted, and I've got to get the British ships printed and painted. Luckily, they're small, so it doesn't take a lot to get them done. Like I said, I got to get these lions, the Kazinti guys painted up for Mr. Copeland as well. So, yeah. In fact, I'm going to start working on those right now. Believe it or not. McMurray, you still with us?
I am
Okay. What have you been working on?
getting Martians ready to go, as well as kind of taking stock of what I have and what I don't have. I've never gotten my Mars stuff together for bigger battles. So I take that back. I have, but it was for the great big 28mm airship fight. So it was bigger battles, but basically each kind of player had, 2, 3, 4 gun crew, or 2 or 3 gun crews, a leader, and then a second and maybe a group of infantry. Usually that group of infantry was just kind of mixed guys. So it's kind of just a figuring out what all I have, what I may need to still paint or still find and paint. And kind of going from there. So, every Martian figure that I own is now on a base, ready to be primed, if it's not already painted. So, as you guys I'm sure remember, I had probably 40 to 50 Martians painted for the last game between Canal and Crag Martians. Since then, I've painted, I think, 15 to 20 Colonial Martians. I have an additional 1 Colonial Martian and then 4 artillery crew to paint for them. And then I've got probably 60 more Martians of other variety to paint, just so that we can really go big for the bigger battles. As well as then I've got a whole bunch of miscellaneous and assorted colonials that I will paint up based on what I need and what I don't. I've got some. I mean, if any of you guys remember the kind of status of my last game, I've got just a bunch of. Most of the French are just artillery crews, which is kind of difficult for me now because I need infantry and stuff, and there aren't any. I just don't have any French colonial infantry. But I've got a few very distinct groups of British colonial infantry. I've got a reasonable force of German infantry that I painted up kind of like C Battalion. So I think I'm already looking at, if I was thinking I would run kind of with groups of, 5, maybe 6 men each. Depending, I've yet to kind of figure out if I'm going to run with a commander, a hero, a gun, and then a couple infantry groups, or like a commander, maybe a light vehicle of some sort, a couple infantry groups, a gun, or a commander, a hero, a vehicle, and some infantry. I haven't figured all that out. That's part of what I'm doing this little inventory for. But at the current, I think I'm looking at, fully painted, based, ready to go, entirely gone, signed, sealed, delivered. I think I've got 10 of the Crag Martians, the Hill Martians, and then 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, Okay, so I don't actually have the 40. I have about 30 Martians already done, primed, good to go. The nice part about that is, though, none of this is new paint scheme. It's all stuff that I've done before. It's stuff that I can look at and say, okay, I'm going to repeat this. And then the nice thing with me, I think I'm going to theme this game as a what if or spoof or whatnot around 55 Days at Peking, because that used to be the big thing for the guys who did all of the Space 1889 and stuff, was always big into, oh, okay, so we're going to do colonial adjacent stuff. And I can use all those boars that I had painted up as well, because civilian defenders at Peking was a big deal. So that also opens up a large number of miniatures that honestly might be just kind of what I run with for an extra card.
Sure.
With the colonial powers is, okay, everybody's got 8 to 10 civilian guys running around, here you go. That way also they've got a unit that isn't just punchy because it's hard to make a Vickers gun not punchy.
Right.
But so again, the nice part is, now looking at it, I certainly have enough British to make an entire British list and then some, in terms of I've still got these 10 or 11 British that have the armor on them that are used as a boarding party in the last game, as well as 2 10 to 12 man kind of infantry groups that are all already painted like each other. The issue with those ones is it's those it's the pack that's officers and NCOs. So out of, I think, the 10 infantry in each of those groups, half of them have rifles, half of them have pistols.
Right.
So again, it might be that I divide up and we've got a German player and then we've got a couple of British players. And then we'll kind of just have to go from there and see what we've got. Because actually, I want to say I then have more British in this box underneath as well, that I just haven't painted. Well, nope, they're pretty much painted, but that's again half rifle, half pistol. So it minorly restricts what I can do. I do also have another 15 Sea Battalion miniatures I can paint up that I've already got primed, should I feel the need to do so. I don't think I will, but we'll have to see. What I'm currently kind of halfway thinking of is seeing how many units I can build up, and then just sort of going from there in terms of, okay, here are the units that I have. What am I looking at for kind of where I want to see this game? And then what else would I need to, how do I need to organize these / what else would I need to paint to get there? So
yeah.
On the European side, we're pretty much there. I kind of want to mess with the bases on them a little bit, to bring them kind of more in to be real close to the Martians, because most of the Europeans I painted before I had made the terrain. So while the Martian bases match the terrain like perfectly, like there's not a, it's the same, they're the same color, they're the same texture, they've got the same tufts on them, they've got the same, under grass on them. Most of the Europeans are just guys with kind of generic red-brown stuff on their, soil on their bases, no tufts,
Right.
no, the really reddy orange. So I'll probably wind up using a bunch of Mars City Rubble or Mars Sand. So the fine Geek Gaming stuff that really comes out of burnt orange color and kind of get that in some places on their bases, because usually the more kind of color variation you can get in a base, as long as you don't cross over the crazy line, the better off you're going to be. Yeah. And then I'll throw on more of the same. What do you call it? More of the same tufts. So I got that to do. So I'll be painting Martians. I got a 3-day weekend coming up. I'll probably see if I can't get these, 60 or so Martians painted this weekend. I don't think that should be too insurmountable. At least, certainly not getting. I think the breakdown that I'm currently sitting on is like 30 to 40 of the high Martians, the canal Martians, and then probably 50 or 60 crag Martians. So like little flying guys. So if I can't get them all done, I'll certainly get at least one of those groups done, and then good headway started on the next one. I feel like the Martians need some sort of large unit, right? Like with the British, I have a few steam tanks. I've got this weird little ball tricycle looking thing that's got a machine gun on it. The steam tanks only have single machine guns on them. They're the little ones from Ratham.
Yeah.
But then, I've got the little, I think it's Things from the Basement makes a little guy that looks like a tripod, but the big front wheel is a ball, and there's a little machine gun on that. So those are cool ways to add in, fighting machines for the Europeans without going too far overboard, right? So we don't have, great big armored things with cannon on it and shit like that. But we can still put something on the table that's certainly got a cool factor that you can't turn away from. Well, then at the same time, I've got, where the hell is my favorite miniature? The guy with the rifle arm. I'll have to find that. Anyways, that was a big old sidetrack, and I apologize, guys. But then for the Martians, it seems like in terms of Space 1889, the only remotely artillery sort of thing they have is these weird sort of antiquated design, real intricate brass cannons. I think I might try and print some of the great big 6-legged thoats, I think is what Frank Chadwick called them. The great big 6-legged lizards that are like Komodo dragons sort of things.
Yeah.
That might be a cool thing to toss out onto the table as okay, here we go. We've got, something larger for the Martians. Just like the British, again, have their little steam tanks. That way the Martians have something cool they can look forward to and look at and say, okay, cool, that's pretty badass.
Yeah, exactly.
So, I mean, that's kind of where we're at in terms of looking at that. I need to build legation buildings if I'm going to have a Peking sort of theme to it, which on the bright side, basically all the other terrain I'm just using from the last game that I put on, because there was a shitload of terrain. It was only on a 3.5 by 3.5 foot board, but that thing was packed with terrain. I was trying to find pictures of that and not having a huge amount of success. But yeah, so I mean, I'm not necessarily super duper. Oh, come on. I'm not real stressed about it, to be honest with you. It should be fun without being ridiculous, and there should be more than enough room for all of the weird stuff, wacky stuff, wild stuff you might be looking for, while balancing that bringing cool new stuff onto the table and not going overboard to the point where it won't get done.
Right. So it's not like building, the entire city of Lay.
Well, yeah, that's also why Reese managed expectations and built a half a city block. But
Yeah.
yes.
I have considered adding a couple more buildings.
Get after it, man.
Y'all have seen it. Do you think it needs it, or do you think that
No,
Okay.
I'm going to be perfectly honest. What you've got there is
Mhm.
going to be enough when you add in all of the extra, all your rubble piles.
Right? Because the streets are not clear. Well, the main street is not clear. I'll put it that way.
Right.
The side streets aren't going to matter because they're going to use them more as staging areas for people to put their cards in there.
Right. Yeah.
So,
Which walkabout? Which minis are we talking about? Sorry, are we talking about the Martians from Space 1889? That'd be pretty cool.
I think he is.
Yeah.
And
I mean, it seems like that was a reasonably. So again, pulling together what the hell am I going to put on that I can pull off of a colonial thing? Having these goober, what are they called? Oh geez, I'm sitting here staring at them, right at them. They are colonial Martians. So, think like Martian Ascaris or Egyptians at Khartoum.
yeah.
Or
that's pretty slick.
on the flip side, you could think of them like Gansu Braves. So, like the not colonial, but the Chinese army that then flipped and started going with the boxers. And at the same time, you had boxers, and then you had just like random peasants that were like, yeah, we can totally go fight the foreigners are the only reason that China fucking blows right now. Yeah. If we kick the foreigners out, we'll go right back to how it was under Xi Huan, which still would have sucked to be a peasant in China. But anyways, so that seemed like a fairly decent allegory on that side. And then the fact that I'll be putting up civilians, and I don't quite have the full, 5-nation alliance or 8-nation. Was it 8 nations? I think it was
Something
8
like that.
I don't
It was
quite
a
have
lot of people. You had the
It was like-
Italians, you had the Russians, you had was it the Italians?
Yep. Italians, Russians, Japanese, British, French, Germans, Americans. And I'm sure I'm missing somebody. I do have some Americans. I could probably use the punitive expedition Americans that I have. I think I do have additional Americans in like the Philippines, Slouch Hats.
Nice.
Somewhere. I would just need to dig them out and find them. But yeah.
So it looks like it was the 8-nation alliance.
There you go, Reese. We had 8.
United Kingdom, Russia, Japan, France, Germany, United States, Italy, and Austria-Hungary.
Austria-Hungary.
Walkabout had that.
But you also include the Netherlands, Belgium, Spain, China up until 1900, and then the mutual protection of Southeast China from 1900 on.
Yep, there you go.
I want to do some sand pebble stuff.
And
well, I've got airships.
Yep. And the American commander during that was Adna Chaffee, who is the father of Adna Chaffee Jr., who the Chaffee light tank is named after.
Hell yeah.
Just, so you know. And we lost Reese.
Hell yeah. I'm still here. Don't worry. Chaffies are badass, whether they're tanks or dudes.
Exactly. Yeah, I started reading up on him, and he was like, during the Civil War after, he was like every fucking where.
Adna Chaffee Sr.?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was all that in a box of chocolates, man. Born in 1842, died in 1914. He made the rank of lieutenant general. He was the chief of staff of the United States Army. He was in the Peninsular Campaign of the American Civil War, the Maryland Campaign, Appomattox. He was also in the Indian Wars at the Battle of Paint Creek, Battle of Red River, Battle of Big Dry Wash. He was in the Spanish-American War. He was in the Boxer Rebellion, and he was in the Philippine-American War.
Yeah, he did a lot.
Every damned where. So, yeah, he would have been a cool Who Am I?
Accurate. I mean, I feel like we still have time to do Who Am I? Is this the last episode or the 150th episode?
What's that?
I said I feel like we still have time to do Who Am I? Is this the last episode or the 150th episode?
It's not a last episode. It's we're gonna keep on keeping on. Walkabout. Chris Long wants to know if you've got shield gunners.
I do have shield gunners. Every box of Canal Martians comes with, I believe, 3 shield gunners. So I've got probably 9 of them.
There you go.
They made I don't know if you recall, Chris, they made a rather alarming appearance in the Battles and Brews game. I don't think people were expecting me to embrace the lore of the shield gunner quite as much as I did. Because those guys, so the gunners in the fluff, the lore, the whatever you want to call it for for Space 89, they're slavers. Those are guns that are designed to stun, so they didn't take slaves. People were not expecting that, and I really think they weren't expecting the fact that the way that was modeled was by adding extra shock. Basically, you subtracted. It's kind of like, I think, how people have done clubs in Fistful of Lead before, where you subtract a point, or you subtract 1 from the wound roll, but then you automatically inflict a shock. So no matter what happens, you're automatically inflicting a shock, and then if you roll a 1, it's a 0, you don't do another shock. But if you roll, say, a 3, you're putting 2 shock on somebody.
Right.
And if you roll a 7, you're putting on a wound and a shock. If you roll a 6, it's 2 shock. You know what I mean? Which is always seemed like a good way to model that sort of thing.
Exactly. Yeah.
So, it's one of those. Okay, that works. We'll run with that. I'm not mad about it, to be honest with you. Yeah.
Percy Black says Fort Chaffee in Arkansas is named after him.
Yep.
And he says he thinks it was a Japanese internment camp in World War II.
So it was not, but Arkansas did have an internment camp.
There you go. Chris Long says that I got my RPG and Soldiers campaign out to look recently for 1889.
Yep, it's a cool setting. I don't remember who it was. Somebody on the internet got 18 Shades of Angry because it used just kind of standard Victorian stuff.
And what else are you going to use?
It's changed hands a number of times also, like the IEP has. And so there's been people who, I don't remember which. So I think Savage Worlds either has it now or was the second people to have it after GDW.
Yeah.
and whoever had it, I think that wasn't Savage Worlds. So either between GDW and Savage Worlds, or it was GDW, Savage Worlds, and then whoever has it now basically just spends a good chunk of their most recent rule book just talking about how Frank Chadwick's a dick because he used these Victorian, tropes, and it's one of those like, I mean, they walk in at the start of like the book talking about how, hey, here's very plainly how Victorian English folks and people of that era perceived the world and other things to be. Here we are. That's what we're basing this book off of. But that's never good enough, especially not in 2023. So,
yeah. I don't get. I mean, you can't do Victorian stuff with it, or whatever their bitch about it being Victorian is. It's like, dude, it is literally that time frame.
Yes, it is Eurocentric. That's
you deal with it.
That's how Victorian stuff works.
Yeah,
I got distracted because somebody said Philippine insurrection. I'm trying to figure out what figures I would use for the Philippine rebels on that.
You probably had to find Philippine rebels.
Yeah,
in particular.
It'd be hard.
It would, but there's certainly places that.
I got plenty of boxers, but I don't think those will quite work. Yeah.
You all right? What the hell? Did you just stab your finger?
No, Walkabout just made a comment about Belgians.
I had Belgians being dicks in my RPG games because that's how it was.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Well, again, and that's the fun part. Were the Belgians dicks, or was Leupold a dick because once the Belgian government took over, things drastically changed? Like that's always the fun part, right? Like the quote Belgian Congo, right? Which is by all means what a lot of people use as the byword for, terror and all the boogeyman of the colonial era. It wasn't a colonial power when, like, it wasn't a colonial state when arms were being chopped off and stuff. It was quite literally, very distinctly, Prince Leopold of Belgium's private property. Not what.
Yeah. Chris Long says Leopold and his kind.
There you go.
Ed Allen is in the house. How you doing, Ed? He says, I've finally gotten around to painting my old Space 1889 Martians this past year. It's been fun to use them a couple of times. Outstanding. How have you used them? What games did you use to play them with, Ed? Let us know. Because although we are sponsored by Wiley Games and Fistful of Lead, we play a shit ton of other games too. So there is no wrong answer as to what game you play them with. Let's see. Okay. Strange Owl Games has successfully crowdfunded Space 1889 after that 10 years after 1889, and with two different sets of rules using Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition and a new system called Empyrean, EMPYREAN, talking about where the Space 1889 IP is sitting currently.
I gotcha. Chris, I agree with you. Chris Long said he prefers more Victorian sci-fi to steampunk. Could not agree.
Yes, I agree. I'm more of a Victorian sci-fi kind of guy. Not so much the steampunky thing with the weird,
just awkward ears and goggles on.
Yeah, for no fucking reason.
Yeah, just like weird flat gear designs everywhere. I'd almost rather deal with diesel punk stuff than steampunk stuff because at least there you've got some sort of believability, maybe is the best word.
Right.
Um, it kind of takes the good fun things about Wells and his kind and goes off the deep end when you get into the really, really steampunk stuff, as opposed to Victorian sci-fi being the real, okay, so this is Victorian sci-fi, but Martians, not
Yeah.
but Martians, and we do wild things, and we can just magically make things happen and shit like that, right?
Right.
So, yeah.
It says the main one so far was a variant on 5 Leagues from the Borderlands, a bit
There
of
we go.
soloing with Pulp Alley. Probably do a hybrid of the Men Who Would Be Kings with Soldier's Companion in 2024. Outstanding. Ed.
Yeah. So mixing it in with Men Who Would Be Kings is on my to-do list. I think if I get about 10 more Anglo-Zulu War British or a gun crew painted up, I should be able to do that 2-player with no problem. And Percy, you are 100 million times correct. That's what
Yes.
I figured
Absolutely.
out. So I think it was last week or 2 weeks ago. I was trying to figure out why the hell I ordered all of these random 54 millimeter, like turn of the 20th century miniatures. Because I have like the one Basaglieri, I have the one Bohr, shit like that I ordered off of whatchamacallit, Irregular, and I couldn't figure out what the hell I ordered them for. I don't know if you guys remember that struggle I had in my brain. It was for fucking dinosaur hunting. I still don't know how I'm going to use them for dinosaur hunting, but it is for dinosaur hunting.
So that's going to be awesome. I'm excited for that.
In 54 millimeter. Yeah, I have no idea how that's going to work, but I ordered the miniatures and they're here and I put them together. So those are.
I've got 54 millimeter dinosaurs.
What?
I've got 54 millimeter dinosaurs.
So do I.
That's awesome.
More the merrier.
Going back to Ed's comment about 5 Leagues from the Borderlands, that is a development of the 5-core system that I'm going to be running at March to Victory.
Nice.
So
hell yeah. Nice
to see another Nordic Weasel player.
Yeah, man.
We seem to be few and far between. Mutt's
a 5 parsecs guy.
Okay, well there you go.
Mutt certainly has 5 parsecs. I bought their little fishing game, which isn't necessarily. It was marketed as an independent standalone. I'm not sure.
Are you talking about Bug Hunt?
No.
Okay.
They quite literally on War Games Vault have a book that's just fishing.
Okay.
It's not quite as standalone as I feel like I thought it would be, but still excited.
I'm taking their supplement for like patrols and occupied Iraq and changing it ever so slightly to fit way. So
nice. That will be badass.
I hope it will be. I hope it causes people to pause and actually think about their decisions instead of just charging forward and shooting.
Okay, I'm no longer quite as enthused, but I'm still interested.
So you're not sure what system you're going to do your Victorian hunters going after dinosaurs?
Correct. Not at the current.
I'm looking at some very hungry velociraptors right now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Now, are they the proper size Velociraptors for 54 millimeter? Like, little
No, they're slightly
height and
larger.
size?
They're slightly larger. They're more Utah Raptor size. kind of
Okay.
a
Yeah, I was about to say maybe
standard,
they're more Utah Raptor.
but they're
If I'm not mistaken,
intimidating.
they're supposed to be what, about 6 feet tall?
Mm-hmm.
The Utah Raptors were 6 feet tall, and the Velociraptors were actual Velociraptors were actually what, maybe 3.5 feet
But if
tall?
they're Utah Raptors, they got to have a whole bunch of wives and feathers.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they do have to have a lot of wives, and wear those silk underwear things.
So here they are in comparison with one of my 135th scale figures. And then I'll show you it next to a 60 millimeter figure, just because those are the two sizes I game in. So
Okay, yeah. That'll
very
be fine.
comparable.
That'll be fine.
And then if you throw them in with 60 mil, they're a tad shorter. So.
Yeah, you could do Cowboys versus Dinosaurs in 60 mil.
Oh, you better believe I could. But they all pale in comparison.
Oh yeah. Put your 54 millimeter dude up against him.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, that is right on, man.
It's a 135th scale dinosaur and a 135th scale Navy SEAL.
Yeah.
So
definitely. I'm all for it, man. I'm down to clown.
It's going to be a while, but that's a potential. I got the terrain for it.
Yeah, you do. All your Vietnam stuff. Just without the buildings.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I don't have any jungle trees.
Yeah, I didn't watch you buy a tote of those the first March to Victory for like $30.
No, 3.
Oh yeah, that's right.
$3.
$3.
Uh-huh.
Somebody bid $2.
Yep.
Well, and then you put down the 3 and you picked up the paper so nobody else could.
I did not pick up the paper.
Right?
Harold.
I did not pick up the paper. I hovered with a pen.
That's how you
well, and you're allowed to do that.
Yep.
Absolutely, you can do that. But yeah.
Yeah, I definitely circled the tables waiting for somebody to outbid me, and I was like, nope, we're not doing this again.
Yeah, man. That's fine. Picking up the paper is how you get McMurray to yell at you.
Yep, that's when the command voice comes out.
That dumbass. God, I can't believe that guy. That was the second year in a row he fucked around during a silent auction, and he finally killed it for everybody.
Yep.
This is why we can't have nice things.
Uh-huh.
Exactly.
Yep.
Exactly. Oh.
That's all right. You can buy stuff out of my car trunk if you need to.
Exactly. We need to get that organized in like the Wiley Games group or something. We need to make a little page for the March to Victory trunk or treat. Or trunk or trade. Or something.
I like the trunk or trade. I like that.
Uh-huh.
I mean, that's where I got most of my winter terrain too.
Well, I mean, my point is that way people still have a place, like they can still bring stuff to get rid of it. It's just we aren't selling things inside the store where they're trying to sell things.
Right.
But there's still a way for people to unload things and get cool stuff while being at the show.
Right.
And spend a lot of money.
And spend a lot of money. Also true. Mainly, I want to get cool shit for next to nothing, which is a pretty cool draw to most gaming conventions.
Yes, it is.
I need to pick up more Nuln oil.
Basically, because then your old crap can be my new crap until it's my old crap, and then it goes back to a war game show, and because somebody else's new crap and not my old crap anymore.
Like those Pacific Air War games that I bought at the first March to Victory and sold the second.
See, those were an investment.
They were. I made money on them.
Uh-huh.
Well, and I mean the gamers with coffees running around with my old terrain boards now.
Exactly.
So,
Greg, Ashley, put on a game on Reese's old boards.
they have
Make him
many
lose.
times. That's how I noticed it. I saw it. I don't know if it popped up on Instagram or if it popped up on YouTube. And I was like, hang on a second. I know that trench.
That looks familiar.
Like that sat in my basement for a few years.
So Todd's old video of him playing in Tim's ultra modern Ukraine game. Granted, it's ultra modern for like 2010,
Right.
but it's ultra modern Ukraine game. That video of Todd's popped up on my face or on my YouTube one time in the algorithm, and I was like, "Man, this first of all, this is super cool." Man, some of these voices sound really familiar, and that basement looks kind of familiar too. Wait a minute, this is one of Todd's videos. Wait a minute, that's Tim's basement. Awesome.
So, McMurray, that happened to me when I was listening to a podcast. I was looking for a podcast on a certain topic, and I found a podcast that was I won't mention the name of it, but some very familiar voices from this show popped up on it.
Ah, yes.
And I was like, oh, yeah, I know that guy.
I'm about to say, Bunkhouse did that entirely stumbled upon and recognized my voice from college. And so I get this random message like, hey, are you this guy McMurray on this? Yeah, I am, man.
Yeah.
What's up? Let's game.
Let's do it.
But
Yeah, how has he been? Have you heard recently?
he's good. He's chugging along. Health issues are getting resolved. Life issues, now that the health issues are resolved, are getting resolved too. It's working out well.
Good.
Chugging along.
Good. Glad to hear it.
Moving in the right direction. Painted some stuff up during March or during July, January. Jesus, Mary and Joseph. But yeah, no, he's doing better. Still working on, figuring out a way to get to some stuff, but absolutely, we are in the right direction.
Good. Glad to hear
He
that.
seems like a decent guy from I've messed with him on stream and stuff.
Dougie's the man. He was at Battles and Brews last year.
Yeah, he was. Percy, it takes all the knolns to make a pot of knoln oil, because it's a little known fact that you don't have to kill the knolns to get the oil. You just have to, harvest it. So, they just use all the knolns that are in captivity to get this. Now, the wild knoln oil is much more expensive because you have to do catch and release with those things. And they're protected.
Did you just say it's a little known fact?
Yes.
I'm done. Stream over, guys. Good night, y'all.
Oh yeah.
That's a new one for me. That's a new
one. What I'm doing right now is doing a knoln oil wash on my M60s, because then I can do once they're dry, I can then do a quick once over with with my ground cover, and boom, they're done, because I don't have to dick around with any kind of camouflage, because I checked with my dad, and I think I've said this previously, but I'll say it again because that's what I do. I checked with my dad, who has firsthand knowledge, that in 1985, none of the Texas National Guard vehicles had any kind of camouflage on them. They were just green.
Nice.
That makes painting a lot easier.
Spray painted them with the Rust-Oleum camouflage, olive green, and then hitting them with a Nuln oil, calling them good. It says milking the Nulns for their oil is dangerous, from what I've heard. The wild Nulns, yes. The Nulns in captivity are a little more docile. Again, that's why wild Nuln oil is more expensive.
Meanwhile, you painted all green, and I'm sitting here painting Mitchell pattern helmet covers.
You do you, brother.
Man, they're tiny.
That's why he's painting 3 mil and you're painting 54 mil.
Yeah, that is very true.
Nice. Welcome back, Chris Long.
What'd you cook, buddy?
Knowles.
We did a what did we do? We did a Asian inspired beef rice bowl for dinner tonight.
Nice.
It was pretty good.
I think Chris made poutine. And so you know how in your Asian food you've got little bamboo, like, partial like chunks, or not? Yeah. They're not shoots; they're like parts of shoots.
Right.
I think Chris Long probably did that with little like chunks of maple trees, so kind of like wood chips, but more refined.
Right. Yeah.
And then he took that with some mousse. And
we're talking about MOOSE, not MOUS or MOUSSE. Yeah.
All right,
pierogies are far too American for you to be eating up there, Mr. Man.
Pierogies.
Pierogies are wonderful, but
yes, they are. But that is I don't know. I didn't know there were that many Polish folk up there in the BC.
I was figuring you were going to say like King of Donair or some sort of Tim's variant. I don't know if Tim's serves dinner, but
it serves dinner if it's a donut.
Yeah, it's a state of mind, man.
I saw a really good broccoli beef recipe for the crock pot. I'm going to have to try sometime.
There you go.
Big fan of the slow cooker.
Well, we get our weekly shipment of food from Every Plate, and it's pretty good stuff.
Nice. Does that mean you're getting just massive amounts of U.S. foreign aid, Chris? That'd be cool. Given that stupid fucking border bill legitimately had more aid in it for Ukraine than the entire budget for the United States Marine Corps.
Well,
borders and stuff. But yeah, so that was cool.
Wait a second.
Because good stewardship of the taxpayers' dollar.
We don't border the Ukraine.
Well, guess what? They were still down for $60 billion in the recently proposed border security bill that was put forth in the in Congress.
Okay.
I'd like to.
Yeah, so that's cool, right?
I'd like to apply for Ukrainian citizenship.
Yeah, no fucking shit. Although I'm not sure that would actually help you that much. I'd like to apply to be part of the money laundering chain. Then you would make some money.
Mm-hmm. Probably.
Yeah. Anyway, sorry. Percy's right. He's bringing us back. But.
Oh.
McMurray, what's the, in your opinion, what's the largest number of like independent moving units an average wargamer can control successfully?
I would certainly say it depends on the crunchiness of the game, right? So, like, some games you're playing, like, say, Sales of Glory,
Mhm.
it becomes very difficult once you hit 4, maybe 5 ships to keep track of everything. Same thing with like Post Captain. At the same time, theoretically, on like a hex encounter, I'm aware, Mike. I know, buddy. But theoretically, I played Stalingrad Pocket, which has, I don't know, 200-300 counters, unit counters in it.
Okay.
It's a little bit different. In terms of average intensity, like miniature war game, like you're playing bolt action or something like that.
Yeah.
I've played bolt action games with 20-something order dice, for sure. A bunch of those are smaller teams and, tanks or vehicles.
Right.
So the more I talk about this, the more I realize it really depends on the rules. Because in some cases, it's really not too bad.
I'm thinking if I don't have a big turnout for my game, maybe giving each player 2 fire teams instead of 1 fire team.
It's a distinct possibility. It just, again, I haven't played enough 5-core.
Right, that'd be eight men instead of 4, which I feel like is
let me ask you a question.
Yes.
When you activate,
yes,
are you activating by individual model, or are you activating the fire team?
So the way 5-core works is you can activate half of your miniatures at a time.
Okay.
Half rounded up. Okay. And then the other two, the other half can stand Overwatch and interrupt other people's actions if necessary.
Okay.
But your actions can be interrupted as well. So it's individually figure based.
Okay. You should be fine with up to 8.
Okay. I figured I would, since on the patrol turns they'll be moving all 8 figures all the time. When contacts are made, their amount of actual maneuvering will be reduced by half.
Right.
So,
because normally I say a player who is unfamiliar with the rules specifically, but has played games before in general, should be able to handle anywhere between 6 and 8 discrete maneuver elements.
okay.
Now, if they're real easy rules to learn, like Fistful of Lead or Ocean Thunder, you can easily pump that number up to 10, 12, 15.
I've looked at, especially her Fistful of Lead, man. You have 15 fucking cards in your hand. That's not going to be an easy turn.
No,
but
you're not going to know who's activated or what's gone or what's happening. Or
well, see, that's why you put little markers down either on the cards on the side of the table or next to your dudes on the table.
Still, a lot of shit going on for that.
Yeah.
Can confirm it gets complicated.
When Todd and I were playing with 8 cards each, trying to play through the play test for my game at Battles and Brews last year, it was brutal.
Yeah.
And that's what Todd and I play. And Todd has played Fistful of Lead before. He has played his own games of Fistful of Lead before. I have certainly played Fistful of Lead before. That was fucking brutal with 8 each. Especially if you're fully playing the rules and trying to get everything you can out of them.
Right.
You think eight would be okay though?
Oh no, probably.
Okay.
Like how much of a strain is 4?
So the game is made for 5. But I mean, I've seen squads of 7 and 8 maneuvered effectively. I'm reducing the number just because I didn't want anybody to go, there weren't 5-man fire teams. You know?
Right.
Because
have a squad, have fun.
Gonna be that guy, right? There's always gonna be that guy.
You tell that person to very nicely not bump the table while they're standing up to get the fuck away.
Amen. You know,
Go pound sand.
I will say though, last year all my players were pretty decent.
Accurate.
Well, I think
not bad.
player-wise, everybody at March to Victory was pretty decent.
Yeah.
I don't get, player-wise, I don't think we had any issues. At least I didn't notice any.
I think when you get in the nitty-gritty historical side of it, you have some people that will vocalize their issues more, especially if it's a rule set they're not familiar with.
Fair.
Yeah. I play historical light, and historical light for a reason.
I got lucky enough that usually I either choose shit where I have an out, right? So like the airship stuff, like,
oh yeah,
well, it's not exactly. Well, guess what, buddy? You're not exactly right. Statted gun is on a boat that's floating in the atmosphere
because of the wood that it's made
of. Which officially means no one gives a fuck.
Right.
Get stuck in.
Yeah, I'm sorry, McMurray, but your time traveling Kubelwagen was the wrong make for 1945.
Yeah, exactly. Sorry, this is one of Hitler's clones because he has a time traveling staff car, and that's how he's getting eaten by dinosaurs. Are you serious right now?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But so there's that, or what if naval actions in the Atlantic during the Spanish-American War? Fight me on the particular capability to pre-dreadnoughts. Let's do it.
That was a blast.
Uh-huh.
I had a lot of fun with that game.
Same.
That frankly, that reason and Ocean Thunder is the reason I've bought naval stuff.
Hell yeah, man.
So
I'm an influencer. McMurray is an influencer.
Well, that and the fact that I basically got handed 2 fleets and said, have fun.
Also true.
And then McMurray's like, here's a gift bag of various scales of 3D printed Spanish ships.
Yeah, I felt kind of bad about that.
Why? You gave me all different scales to look at and figure out which one I liked.
Uh-huh.
Why would you feel bad about that?
Because at some point you're going to be like, well, I have these 1/600 things. I should probably build, get some more of those. And then you're going to paint those up. And be like, man, but here's 1/1200 also.
Yeah.
I got like 2 or 3 of these. I bet these are a really cool, balance of getting closer to a ground scale. And that's pretty cool. And then I think I handed you like 6 to 10 1/2400 ships.
Yeah.
And so you're going to look at those and be like, man, I basically have a fleet here already. I just need to get an American fleet.
I can't remember what scale I got in for Victorian ships, what I actually bought into.
Did you do tumbling dice?
I did do tumbling dice.
1/2400.
Okay, so some of those 3D printed ones will work.
Uh-huh. I think it
Awesome.
should. I think so.
I need to just stay off of Tumbling Dice's website for a year, maybe 2,
Good luck.
because
That'll never happen.
between the 1/2400th naval and the 1/600 air,
Uh-huh. Man,
yeah,
their air is pretty nice too. I kind of like it.
I prefer Picos with the Aussie Odmus minis.
Pause. Correct. Flop them. My bad. Yes.
But Tumbling Dice does have nice stuff for things that are not in that range.
They do. I was about to say, and I think their range might be a little larger, or it's just in stock more because they do it
It's
all in house.
quite a bit larger. Quite a bit
Okay.
larger.
Then yes, my pause. You're right. It's the Pico armor. It's a smaller range. I
Yeah.
kind of prefer the sculpts, but
But Pico Armor doesn't have a lot of that Cold War stuff that that Tumbling Dice has.
well, and since they don't make it in house, they don't always have everything in stock.
True.
I like Pico. Pico's fantastic, Chris Long, because it's close enough to me that I usually get it 2-3 days after ordering.
Yeah, same. It's insane.
It's incredible. I love it. Big fan.
Yeah, they're just a little north of me here in Illinois.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And the guy who runs it, he's a pretty cool cat. Jay had him on his podcast a couple of years ago.
Nice. Over on the Veteran Wargamer.
Yep.
Outstanding.
I am almost done with these 2 companies of M60s. Getting them washed up. They look good, but the only problem I have with this scale is the barrels are very brittle.
Yep.
Very.
All good, Scally. Good to see you, buddy.
Are
Hey,
they?
brother, how you doing?
Oh yeah.
That's fine, brother. Do what you need to do to take care of the kidling.
Family first, right?
Yep. What have you been working on, Scala?
And what were you saying, Reese?
I don't remember.
Sorry, buddy.
That's all right.
You were talking about naval stuff.
Probably why I don't remember, because I haven't touched my naval stuff, and
No, we moved past the naval stuff because we talked about
we were on 1/600 air.
the aircraft,
Yeah.
and then we moved on even a little bit from there. Who knows?
Oh well. You know that I'm doing at some point that what if Cold War gone hot in the South Pacific with the weird Nazi aircraft too.
Oh yeah.
So,
No.
Chris Long says I might have ordered more 1/700 scale.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, it's pretty outstanding.
You've got a problem like McMurray's got a problem.
He's actually, believe it or not, got a bigger problem with 1/700 naval than I do, which is impressive.
I have only got like maybe 3 ships in that scale right now. So yeah.
Well, he blames me for the 1/700 scale stuff.
I thought he blamed Ken Riley.
What's that?
I thought he blamed Ken Riley. I don't know.
Well, with my 1/700 scale submarines, kind of pushed him over.
I gotcha.
And those are some pretty cool subs. And
Yeah,
Ken, yep.
And Ken, yeah. 4x4 Borg table for my Star Trek games. It's mind-numbing and really taxing my motivation. I get that. I get that. it took me a while to get myself geared up to actually work on these. I think what it finally did was I did get the discs, and once I got the discs, um, and started gluing them on, it kind of took its time to get me started, and now I'm jazzed about it. The other thing was I was really dreading the idea of figuring out how to paint Murdoch, verdant green Murdoch camouflage on these things and make it look good. And then Dad said, "No, they were just green." Done. Shaka 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 shaka.
So, McMurray, I answered our question about the M40.
Which one was that? When was
700?
the 700 standardized?
Mhm. So they were already talking about it in 66, and I think the first ones hit the line in 67.
Okay, when did they actually standardize fully away from the 70 into the 700?
I'm not sure, and I'm going to tell you that I bet a lot of 70s stayed out in the field to the end of the war.
Oh, I would almost assure you that a whole
So,
bunch of them were still in Marine Corps armories
I think
into
it
the
was
1980s and
probably
90s.
the end of Vietnam, when it was quote unquote standardized.
I gotcha.
But
Yeah, I mean, well, actually, I take that back. I believe, wasn't the M40 standardized as the M40 itself from the start as the 700? It's just a question of when was the shift fully made from the 700 or from the Model 70 to the
right, we were talking about when would it be appropriate for Marines in the
M40.
field to be shooting a Remington 700,
Oh yeah,
and I'd say 67.
probably so. I mean, I would also point out that if you're getting close enough to tell the difference between a Model 70 and a 700, boy howdy,
It depends on the scope setup. It's very apparent at range.
Well, the scope setup could also have changed between.
So, and that's something I did
Right,
find
this
out
is
too.
what-
Is they had a 3x9 that they could choose from in 66. So
the Redfield.
yeah, I don't know if it was Redfield or not. It was a 3x9. I'm not sure it was the same scope. It may have been different.
Okay.
But they had the choice of the M1 with the 2.5. So they didn't have the 1952 model.
Correct.
With the 4-power. They had the 2.5. Then they had the Model 70 with either the Unertal 8-power or a 3x9 in 60.
Yeah, so that was the memoir or the autobiographies from Joe Ward maybe, and most of the others I think they credit that as being a Redfield, which is entertaining because now it's the exact opposite. That's not the. If I was to choose something, it probably wouldn't be that.
Yeah, it. Yeah.
But yeah. Let's see.
But wasn't the Redfield 3x9 what they eventually made into the ART?
I couldn't tell you, to be honest with you. I'm just purely going off of what I'm remembering from various books, and even then, it's a long
I'm listening to Kugler's autobiography right now.
There you go. Ed Kugler is one of those individuals.
Yeah, and he talks a lot about the M14 as well.
Correct.
So I'm trying to finish it up before, and I'm listening to another one as well. I'm trying to finish up before March to Victory so that I do deploy the correct sniper teams on my table.
There you go. So yes, the Marine Corps stopped buying Model 70s after the pre-64 variants dried up.
Yes.
There you go. And correct, the M40 was standardized from its inception on the 700 series, but that was adopted first in 66.
Right. And that's because Remington was doing such a good job.
Yep.
Working.
And that was using the Redfield 3-9 AccuRange as the standardized go-to.
Which I believe is what the Army put on the M21 as well.
I think so. And then there was an option to up to a 10 power inertial in the early 70s. But anyhow, yeah. So there we go. That answers some of our questions, most of our questions, a good number of our questions. So that's cool.
Yeah.
Now
I got to figure out when the Army started putting scopes on the M14.
Then the M21.
No, before the M21, they started putting the 2.5 power Garand scope on it.
Correct.
And I'm trying to figure out when and if those actually saw combat.
Let's see. Walkabout ordered the Suzuya Japanese heavy cruiser, Harusami Navy destroyer, Sakura Navy destroyer, HMS Renown 1942, IJN submarine I-1 and I-6, HMS Warspite 42, IJN heavy cruiser Ashigara ×2. Looks like he also ordered the HMS Renown British battlecruiser 42 ×2. And both British Navy aircraft carriers and both illustrious class aircraft carriers. He's got a problem, as he so self-proclaims. Skelegram is saying that his Borg board is painted in black, so it's just 3 accent colors. So unlike other terrain tables, when I get tired of doing trees, I can go do rocks or whatever. With this table, it's just 3 accent colors over and over again. Yikes. Yeah, I could see where that would become very boring very fast. So what else is going on out there, guys? What are y'all working on? I saw earlier that our illustrious San Diego citizen was working on orcs. Yeah, Charles is kicking it with the orcs tonight. Actually, I've got a full battalion of these M60s now. I did do a full battalion. So 2 more of this many, and I'll have 1 of the 6 brigades that you have to build. That is just insane. What the hell am I What am I thinking, Reese, by doing this?
That you have a passion project and you want to get it done?
I guess.
Same reason I'm building Pershing Expedition in 1/35th scale when I know I'll never have Mexican banditos to face them.
How do you know you're not going to have Mexican banditos with that?
Because
With that
I already,
attitude, you never will.
I already have them in 132nd. I don't think I can get them 135th.
Can you not play with 132nd models?
I mean, I can, but they look weird on the same table. I could probably make it work. Just haven't figured it out yet.
Why do they look weird? Maybe they're just shorter Mexican guys.
Yeah. Percy is cleaning flash off of 15mm goblins.
Nice.
Telemachus, I spent several days last week printing generic sci-fi for Stargrave for the game group at 19 plates full of aliens. I'll never be the same again. Yikes. So also this past weekend, it was nice enough that I could get, when I got some priming done, I got all of my infantry for my Ultra Freedom project primed up. So now I got to just figure out how to get them painted.
Blue and grays.
Well, no, they're all gray, and they're already gray. So, Chris Long says, we're all mad. Mad, I tell you. Telemachus is twitching because, well, 19 plates of aliens on his printer. I get that, man. I still got a...
Where did I miss 19 plates? Are you fucking crazy?
Yeah. Telemachus printed out 19 plates full of aliens.
Oh, goddamn, Chris.
For his Stargrave game.
There we are. Good Lord. Get after it. Hopefully they're the little gray aliens kind, so they are dirt easy to paint. If they're not, you got to help you, Fred.
Found some really interesting for aliens and 132nd. I'm thinking about grabbing them. But then I go, what would I put them against?
Are those aliens? Or are they little green men aliens?
They're taller green men with laser rifles and one or two in like priest robes.
In freeze? What?
Priest robes, like.
Oh, I got you. Well, seems like you could have them fight pretty much anything because, again, there's no historical basis for any of it.
Right.
So have them show up and fight your cavemen. Who gives a shit?
There you go.
Also, your banditos. I still say you should just use the 132nd with the 135th, but your banditos are like 1 month on Wargame Atlantic away, and then all of a sudden they're there, and then all of a sudden you have them.
True. That is very true.
So don't get too worried up about that.
Hey, McMurray.
Yes.
You know what I think the most groundbreaking invention is in history?
Shovel.
Yes, sir.
Heard that.
Got it. Got it. Let me fucking go.
Love that stuff. Here's one that's going to get us demonetized easily. Why are nipples so important?
Because without them, boobs would be pointless.
Yes. Oh, good stuff.
Goodness.
Good.
There goes any female viewers we had.
Jeff, come back.
Oh, God, Lord. Here you go. Percy says aliens in priest robes against Waffen SS.
Yeah, there you go. No qualms about killing every model on the table.
Right.
But still, one nice thing about East Front games, and Jeff always pushes this on me and reminds me of this. Like, it's nice because you never have to worry about the good guys losing.
Because there are no good guys on the East Front.
Yeah, dude, there aren't.
It's like the 40K universe.
especially when you've got like NKVD battalions and shit in Stalingrad. Like, oh god, everyone here is just fucking terrible.
I need to rebase my Eastern Front, guys.
You know what you can use?
I've got Geek Gaming Snow.
I was about to say you can do Geek Gaming Snow and Base Ready City Rebel, which I think they've tinkered with the formula for, because when I first got it, it was real glassy, and it is not anymore, which makes me very, very happy.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Stupid Marine to stay on his base, and it's not working.
Well, you know how you keep him on his base.
What?
Make sure he's got plenty of crayons to eat. Chris Long says rubble and snow. There you go.
Yep.
Well, and I'm this guy. I try to use my Eastern Front Germans against my Battle of the Bulge Americans.
Perfect.
And so I don't usually do City Rebel on my Eastern Front guys. I usually just go plain snow.
Oh, there you go.
And then I've got enough guys that I can use for Korea and or Battle of the Bulge that my North Koreans and my Russians are somewhat interchangeable.
Nice.
All right. We're going to go ahead and do a Who Am I to finish out the night.
Well, let's do it.
So, let's see.
Is it Adna Chaffee Sr.?
No.
Good.
Be a little too soon to do that one.
Huh?
Be a little too soon to do that one, I'd hope.
Maybe, but
Yeah.
you never really know.
Yeah. All right. So, who wants to start asking the questions? And those out there in text world, messenger world, what have you, you're more than welcome to ask a question or throw out a guess.
McMurray, you want to start, or do you want me to?
Is it a dude? Or I take that back again. It's 2024. Is it a penis owning individual?
Yes.
All right. Your turn, Reese. Good luck.
Well, now that we've established that, were they born in the 20th century?
No. Telemachus is not Stalin. See you later, Chris Long. Take care, buddy.
See you, Chris.
So Swinging Dick not
Were
born in the
they
20th century.
Born before the year 1800.
Oh.
No.
Okay, so there you go, Reese. We've narrowed that down.
1800 to 1900.
Yep.
Yes, he was born in the Northern Hemisphere.
Okay. Did this person live into the 20th century?
Yes.
Okay. So it's someone who was born pre-1900 but then lived past 1900. It's a dude. Lived in the Northern Hemisphere. Did you say lived in the Northern Hemisphere or was born in the Northern Hemisphere?
He just said Northern Hemisphere. I said, yes, he was born in the Northern Hemisphere.
Okay, there you go. Is this individual an American?
Yes.
All right, I like it.
Was this did this individual hold military rank in the United States military?
Yes, he did. Okay, I'm going to give you a hint. It might give it away if you know who it is. At some point in time in his career, he was the governor of Puerto Rico.
Oh shit.
And Scout says she could have a drawer full of peni, so just owning one doesn't really answer the question.
I was told most recently that's how you needed to address, or I was told recently that was the proper way to ask that question. I don't fucking know, Scally. You might be right. You probably are right. I have no idea, my dude.
I'm holding a miniature of a teenage girl holding a child while smoking a cigarette. Do you think I really need to focus on that?
You're probably a bad person, to be honest with you.
I am a terrible person. Y'all know this.
Yeah.
Okay, Governor of Puerto Rico.
Yep.
Governor of Puerto Rico before 1930?
Yes, kind of.
Okay.
Yes, kind of. Why do I feel like I know this fucking answer? Oh, Christ on a bike. This all seems like some shit I should know. Well, it's bugging me because it's one of those. I can almost guarantee you that
He did not die in prison, Telemachus.
he did not die in prison. This is a person who was born between 1800 and 1900, lived into the 20th century, was a governor of Puerto Rico, and held rank in the U.S. military. Wait, wasn't Teddy Roosevelt the governor of Puerto Rico one time? Or no, wasn't Teddy Roosevelt's kid the governor of Puerto Rico? The Teddy Roosevelt who landed on D-Day. Is that right? Stop. No, it's not. I'm fucking asking Reese questions.
Lock it
Chris.
in. Lock
Butt
it in.
out.
Lock it in.
Oh, because it's not. TR Senior wasn't. Like, he had fun in Puerto Rico and Cuba and the Caribbean. I don't know. I feel like that would be the perfect. Because I'm trying to think of people, and the more people I go through, it's like I don't think that person was the governor of Puerto Rico.
Okay, this is going to give it to you. Go ahead and ask your question.
Was this person involved in the U.S. Army?
Yes.
Shit, I don't know, Reese. He said kind of when you asked 1930, which makes me think that this person was probably the governor of Puerto Rico in 1930.
Well, if he assumed the post in 1929 or was appointed to it, that would put it in the correct time period for Theodore Roosevelt Jr. But,
correct, right? Because you got to think this is super small interwar U.S. Army.
Did this man die in Europe during World War II?
Yes.
Okay, locked in.
I think it is, yeah. Because we're at that weird, like, there's not that many people in the U.S. Army, but at the same time, if it was like, one of the guys we're all thinking like Patton or Dougie Mack or Ike or something, I don't think they were ever.
We got it. It's going to be him. It's Teddy Jr.
Is it Teddy Jr.?
It is Teddy Jr. He was born September 13th, 1887. Died on my brother's birthday, July 12th, 1944. No, my brother was not born on 1944.
Rude.
In some French word, France. Mutus fuck, I don't know. He was member of the New York State Assembly from the 2nd District from 1920 to 1921. He was the Assistant Secretary of the Navy from March 10th of 1921 to September 30th of 1924 for the Presidents Warren G. Harding and Calvin Coolidge. Would that have given it to you, McMurray?
What was that last one with Warren G. Harding and Calvin Coolidge? My apologies.
That he was Assistant Secretary of the Navy from 21
Yes,
to 24.
That probably
That would have locked it in for you. He was the governor of Puerto Rico from September 9th, 1829 to January, 1929 to January 1932.
Nice.
And he was the Governor General of the Philippines from February of 32 to July of 33. Under Herbert Hoover and his cousin, Franklin D.
Yeah.
So when did the MacArthur step in for that?
For the Philippines?
Yeah. That'll be 30.
Well, let's find out.
33, 35, something like that.
Well, he was succeeded by Frank Murphy.
Okay.
So, not under New Spain. Let's go to.
But that being said, guys, I gotta jump out of here. We'll talk to y'all later.
Okay, take care, buddy.
I'm probably gonna jump out too pretty soon.
Yeah, we're gonna do.
Guys.
Bye. See you, buddy. Just do this real quick. Leonard Wood from 1921 to 1927.
Leonard Wood was?
Yeah.
I didn't. That's
interesting. MacArthur was never the. Yeah. He
never governor.
Here we go. He was never the. It was. What was his actual title?
Was it Marshall?
Because they changed? He became the High Commissioner. They became the High Commissioner in 35 to 42, and then from 45 to 46. Where? Japanese military governors and then vice governors of the Philippines. Douglas MacArthur was never that. Let me look him up real quick, and then we'll call it.
I don't know why I thought he was governor.
Dougie Mack, governor of the Ryukyu Islands, commander of the United Nations Command in Korea until Truman took him out. Right. Commander of Far East Command, first Supreme Commander for the Allied Powers, United States military. He was the United States military advisor to the Philippines from 35 to 41.
That's what it was.
That's what he was. He was the commander of the Philippines Department from 28 to 30. He was also the superintendent of West Point from 1919 to 1922.
For some reason, I thought I knew that. You know, he and Patton met up during World War I at one point.
Yeah. So, all right, folks, we have come to the end of the 150th episode. Before I kick out, just going to show you how these turned out real quick. I think they look pretty good. I think that Nuln Oil really made them pop out. Not too shabby. Don't know if I want to do a dry brush on them or not. What do you think, Reese?
Well, given the fact I still haven't figured out how to dry brush, I'd say no.
Yeah, my dry brush is not great. I think I'm just
Yeah,
going to call it good.
I can't make heads or tails of it.
Yeah. Thanks, Gal. I appreciate that. Telemachus, yeah. We hope to have another 150 in the next 3 years. So, all right, guys. We might have, we might do one this weekend. I don't know. I do know I've got nothing going on Sunday because of the Super Bowl and my Kansas City Chiefs are playing in it. Yeah, in their down year, they're playing in the Super Bowl. But we might, no promises, but we might pick up a Peyton chat on Saturday, especially since McMurray's got a long weekend, so he's going to be doing some painting.
I might jump on there.
You might? Okay. So, yeah, I'll double check with the wife, see if she's okay with it. She's hurting right now. She goes in for a CT scan tomorrow for her leg to see why it's hurt so bad.
We thinking about an evening paint and chat, or we thinking about the day? Okay.
More likely an evening.
Because I'll be good to go most of the day. So.
Okay, sounds good. Sounds good. Like I said, I'll check with her, see if we've got anything going on. If not, we'll see. But guys, until next time, we will see you on the flip side.